Hello and welcome back to the 80-Hour Developer. By this point, you're about 30 hours into your journey. We're a little over a third of the way there, and you guys have picked up a whole toolbox's worth of new tools in your software development arsenal. So you should have at least a good intellectual understanding now of the core components of just about any programming language, not just PHP. Things like variables, loops, conditionals, all of that good stuff that you learned about in the very first Laravel series that you went through. And then you learned specifically about the Laravel framework, which takes care of just so much behind the scenes things so that you can focus on the higher level logic of problem solving. And that's going to be a theme we come back to over and over through the rest of this course. Programming is just applied problem solving, right? We're finding something that's suboptimal and we're making it better with a computer program. And really, that's the best way to determine if what you're doing is valuable or not. When you're working with a company, you find something that they're doing that they could be doing better if only they were using better tools, better software, better processes, whatever. So we're going to start super gently in this next portion of the course. And I want to introduce you to the basic workflow for all of my software development projects. There's going to be some new concepts in there, and we're going to go through them one by one. And then we're going to start building a new project, okay? And as I mentioned earlier, there's two projects that we're going to build together. The first one is going to be a little easier, and it's going to help us get our feet wet in tying together all of these concepts that you've just spent the last 30 hours learning about and practicing in bits and pieces. So here is what I think of as the basic master workflow for all software development. The first step is that we have to gather requirements from a client. Sometimes they tell us, we need you to make us X, and X is whatever the piece of software they want is. Sometimes it's very general, sometimes it's very specific, right? They might say, I want a Facebook clone. And then you have to dive really deeply to understand what features specifically they want, given that Facebook's had billions of dollars of developer hours put into it. Or they might say to you very simply, look, I just need an application that texts my phone every day at 7:05 a.m. and asks me if I have done my morning workout or not, and then tracks that and lets me see a graph over time. Right? Very different requirements there. The second one, much more valuable because it's much more specific. So once we've gathered our requirements from the client, what we're going to do is break those requirements down into checklist items. And what I mean by a checklist item is something that you should be able to do in anywhere from a few minutes to no more than an hour or so. And that once it's done, you can tick it off. It should be the smallest possible item out of a set, right? So build website is not a checklist item, but install Laravel is a checklist item, right? It's one component, and there's no smaller component we can get there other than just install Laravel. Once you've broken your requirements down into checklist items, we create what are called tickets out of those items. So this is an application called Jira. I love it. I use it in all my software development. And what we're actually going to be building is a Jira clone that's much more stripped down in its functionality, but that allows us to define multiple projects within projects, to define individual items that need to be completed, to assign them a status, either to do, in progress, or done, to invite other people to work on our projects, and to assign which people can work on which projects. Okay, so that's the application that we're going to build together here. And here is the set of tickets that I've started out here in Jira for this. We're going to install Laravel. We're going to set up authorization so that you have to log in to use it. And then we're going to say that users can create tickets. Tickets can have descriptions. Users can only see their tickets. They can't see other users' tickets. That we can invite other users. The tickets can have to do, in progress, or completed status. That we can move from category to category. That we can do mass edits. And that we can attach tickets to projects so that we can organize things into separate projects. So that's the first 10 tickets in our project, and certainly we're going to have more as we go on. Right? This set of steps is iterative. We go through it, and as we realize that we need to add in new tickets, we do. As we realize that a ticket might be too broad, we might need to split it up into multiple tickets, we do that. Okay, so we've got our requirements. We've broken them down into individual ticket items. So these next set of steps might be a little unfamiliar to you. I'm saying here we're going to create a new branch in Git. We're going to create tests that explain what we want to do. And then we're going to write enough code so that our tests pass. We're finally going to ensure that we're happy with what it looks like, merge into develop, merge into production, and push it up to the live web. And then we're going to repeat this process again. So if everything from here down sounds unfamiliar and like gobbledygook, that's a good sign. We're going to go over each of these pieces in the coming videos, and I'm going to show you examples of them as we do our live coding. So that's it for now. That's the overview of where we're going. And in the next video, we're going to start with the actual development of our Jira clone ticketing project. All right, I can't wait. Thank you guys so much. You're doing a great job thus far, and I'm so glad you're keeping up with this program.